Time for Thinking Real Estate. Couple guest hosts this week.
Hi.
Jackie Osmond's here.
Yep.
And a visitor from the east.
From the east.
West.
From the
From
past.
the
West.
Yeah, he's from the west.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just stealing a line from Johnny Carson. He always said
Oh,
a visitor
okay.
from the east.
Got it.
Carnac.
You're dating yourself.
I am, but you remember it.
I do
Jackie
remember
doesn't.
it.
No, I do not.
No.
That was way before my time, I'm sure.
Did you miss me, Greg?
Yeah. Where you been?
Geez.
You've been busy, haven't you?
Oh, it's crazy. Crazy busy.
Did we say it's Mark Meyer?
Oh, Mark Meyer. I think everybody knew.
I'm back.
Oh, goodness. So, we kind of like just said we're going to wing it, right?
Well, we started out well.
We did, yeah.
Should we talk about your mom?
Well, okay, so Laura's not here today because she's at another meeting right now. It's funny, she had to go to Chicago yesterday because my sister graduated from law school and they drove over there and drove
Another
back this night.
Schlechte lawyer.
I know.
That's what we need. That's what the
I'll have
United
to-
States needs.
We'll have to put her and Bill on the show and see.
I told Greg a little while ago that she's just like him.
Yeah, she is. Of his kids, she's the most like him.
And we're shocked.
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah, so it's...
Congratulations.
well, hey, it's her third degree, so hopefully she's done with school now. We're all taking bets on if this is her last degree.
I'll bet it will be.
I think it will be too. She's very excited about being an attorney and actually wants to work for a government, so...
Which one?
Our government.
Which one?
Any government. Yeah, she wants to be a government attorney for a while and see what that's like. She's
Well,
kind
I
of
heard
interested in that.
Kazakhstan is looking for lawyers.
I'm sure she wants to stay
Yeah.
here, but yeah, so it'll be interesting to see where she lands. But yeah, and then Laura had another meeting this morning, so she's on the go.
Is she
Lot of
back?
meetings.
She is back.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
they drove back so she could make it to this meeting that we had this morning. So anyway,
And she asked me to fill in, so here I am.
Well,
yeah.
good to see you.
Glad to be here.
Good to see you.
So, well, I thought we'd just kind of chat about the market because it's crazy out there.
The market
right
is
now.
crazy.
Very,
I don't
very crazy.
remember.
Well, what do you compare it to?
Oh boy, I can't compare it to anything. I mean, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and the in the old days, before the crash, anybody could buy a house. Anybody breathing could buy a house, and now we have real buyers that are qualified, looking for houses, multiple offers. I
Yeah.
just shared with Greg before we went on air that I listed a house last Monday, and by Tuesday morning I had 2 offers, and it went for nearly $10,000 over asking price.
Wow. Yeah, we had one.
That's kind of unheard
It's
of.
crazy.
Yeah, we just listed last week, and it's on my list of ones to talk about today. And we had one agent that's shown it 3 times to 2 different buyers already.
Over
and
this weekend.
Over the weekend, so.
But back in about 2000, wasn't it like that?
No.
I mean, you wouldn't get multiples?
No, not only didn't, no, it wasn't like this, partially because literally anybody that was breathing that wanted a house could buy a house.
Yeah.
The banks made it happen. And so now these are qualified buyers that are, generally speaking, putting money into it themselves, and
Legitimate.
legitimate, yeah.
Yeah.
Lots fewer foreclosures. It's if a house is priced right and it's in good condition and it's new on the market, you got to move on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing a lot of now is people want the good condition. When the foreclosures were around, people didn't care about the condition of the house. They knew they were getting a good deal and they were willing to put in the money. Now prices are going up, so they want those houses in conditions that are more move-in ready, or live in while you work in ready, type of a thing. I showed one over the weekend that I showed them, they were new buyers to me, and I showed them probably 5 houses over the last few days. And finally, the last one we looked at, they just fell in love with. And they're, one of their big concerns is, why has it been on the market for 120 days if the market's so hot? And I'm like, well, because it needs updating. And that's something people don't really want to do. It needs a new kitchen and things like that, which it's in a condition that you could live in and work on it. So I think they're going to end up being really excited about this house and ready to offer because they're willing to do that work. And I think they're going to get a good house for it. So.
And the key really is still pricing. You can't overprice it, otherwise it's just gonna sit. It's still not a market.
So you can overprice it.
No,
you
you
can,
can't.
if
Well,
you
you
want to
can't.
sit
You
on
don't sell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not that interested in selling,
Right.
go ahead, put on whatever
I
you
mean,
want.
I have a great,
Do you have to talk out a lot of clients out of that?
yeah, but
Don't,
it does,
don't
it
they
doesn't
all feel
always.
their house is worth more than?
Nah, generally speaking,
I-
they're pretty savvy.
Yeah, and I think,
And if you can back it up, I mean, the numbers are the numbers. And if you show them on paper what they are, 9 times out of 10, they're gonna price it correctly.
yeah.
But every once in a while, I have a client that right now is overpriced, and they knew it going into it, and it's been on the market 4 months. So,
Yeah, and
and we're
you-
getting showings.
Right. Well, and again, the foreclosure crisis kind of solved that problem as well, because people are used to prices being way lower. So when we come in and say, well, you can actually list it for this amount, they're actually kind of excited.
Yeah, that house that I was just talking about that I got the 2 offers on, we were gonna list it at 119, and we listed it at 125, and it went for 133.
Wow.
Yeah.
How are prices? Then prices are up.
They're
Price,
going up,
yeah. I think I did I wrote an offer on a condo in the city and last week, and I think in the city the prices are up over the last year like 7%, something like that.
Yeah, I haven't done a CMA in the city in a while.
I just did it, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, prices are good.
Going up across the board, and the other issue we have is there's a lack of sellers right now. People are not putting their houses on the market still, and
Well, I have had people ask me about why the market is so good, why it's strong right now, and it's because buying is still cheaper than renting in Jackson. You could buy a $120,000 house for about $850 a month, including taxes and insurance, and the same house would rent for probably $1,200 a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's great.
yeah, now's the time to put your house on the market.
Exactly.
So are you seeing a lot of first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I work with a lot of first-time home buyers. My involvement with the Young Professionals has gotten me a lot of people that are interested in just kind of investing in the city or investing in the community and getting settled, and it's really fun. I actually really enjoy working with first-time home buyers. It's probably my favorite thing to do because it's fun to walk them through the process, and first-time home buyers I find are a little less jaded.
As opposed to us oldsters.
Yeah, you guys are like whatever.
Well, you have to be skeptical, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You have to be cautious. I mean, there's a lot that you
Cautious.
need to
Skeptical. yeah.
know about buying a house, and I like walking people through that process of getting the home inspection and knowing what they're supposed to find out about the house.
And that's, I
So-
agree with that, and that's one of the things that I forget is that what we know, people don't know, what realtors do. I always forget to explain to people the process. So I agree with Jackie that first-time buyers are great because they don't know. On the other hand, they watch HGTV and have these unrealistic expectations.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I had a first-time buyer recently ask me if there was they were hoping to see houses that weren't on the market yet, and basically wanted to know where they could find those. And I said, well, those are houses that people live in. They're not for sale for a reason.
Well, if you run into, I don't know if it's Zillow or Trulia or something like that, for some reason, I don't know how they do it, but they put houses on the market that
Are not on the market.
Are not on the market.
Well,
and I
let me
get
tell
calls
you
all
why
the
they do
time,
that,
and
because
it
we've
drives
had
me
this
crazy.
discussion at the JAR, at our Jackson Area Association
Okay.
of Realtors board meetings. They don't take things off. They readily admit that they don't take sold listings off to get people to inquire, and then they can refer them to their preferred realtors. And they also scrub, whatever you want to call it, public record sites so that if something is going into foreclosure, it'll show that it's on auction or for sale,
Yeah.
even though it may not be, it probably isn't, because it'll show that it's foreclosed or pre-foreclosure,
Foreclosure is what I've seen.
and
yeah.
they're not,
Yeah.
because that process is so lengthy.
Right. It could be, 6
Months.
months to 3
Y-
years
yeah,
before a
exactly.
house like that ends up on the market. It's just that is one thing that makes our job a little bit tougher, is trying to find out what's going on with these houses. I had about a year ago somebody asked me about one that was a pre-foreclosure, and I'm like, I have no idea what that means. And so
What's I haven't heard
It
that
means
one.
that the bank has filed paperwork with the county that it's going into foreclosure, and it's going to be a sheriff sale at the county courthouse, but it hasn't happened yet, and
And
once
that-
it does happen, there's still at least a 6-month redemption period on the property.
Yeah, so the property owner could, pay off their balance and maintain that house. And, we're getting calls about it saying, hey, this looks like it's on the market. And no,
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah.
So it takes 6 months before the sheriff can sell it?
No, the sheriff sale happens at the time of the foreclosure,
So
whatever that date is.
Basically, the process of foreclosure is once you start missing payments on your mortgage, the bank can, they send you a notice that says, hey, you have 45 days or maybe it's 90 days, I don't know, to get caught up, or we're gonna do what's called a sheriff sale. And basically, that's a public sale of the mortgage, and then once that's recorded, the property owner has 6 months, or there's some exceptions to the length of time, but typically it's 6 months from the date of the sheriff's sale to redeem that property by paying off the balance.
So
of
the sheriff's
mortgage.
sale is it's not a done deal?
No,
Okay.
and it's a year if it's
So you
more
learn
than
something
3
every
acres.
day on this show.
Yeah.
Kind of.
So, and that's where, that's where a lot of people go through a short sale process when they start missing payments and they realize they're just not gonna be able to get caught up. So, there is that opportunity to sell the property without having to go through the foreclosure process. So,
And that's called a short sale.
that
Okay.
is, yeah.
And I actually
What-
just wrote an offer on a short sale listing last week, and that's the first one I've seen in a while.
Yeah, they're fewer and far between
last-
right now, and
We used to talk about them all the time,
Yeah.
every week.
That's all that was
Yeah.
happening,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It was, I specialize in short sales, and that was, 50% of the houses we had. But we've got 2, no, actually, I think we're down to 1, and it has an offer on it, but it's had an offer for the last 9 months, and I still haven't
Waiting
gotten
for
it
the-
sold.
Waiting for the lender to decide.
So it's not an easy process to go through, and that's a good example of an exception to the foreclosure process that I just mentioned. This one, the property owner, he was transferred out of state for his job. He has not made a payment on that house in a long time, and the bank still has not filed the sheriff's sale, and it's probably been a year since he's made a payment, I think. So
Well,
that's
but
just
once
insane.
you let the bank know that you're requesting to do a short sale, doesn't that stop the process?
No, not necessarily. No.
Huh.
And in this case,
What
before
bank is
we
it?
got the Bank of America.
Ugh.
That's just our. Everybody does not.
Yeah, and once they
Probably.
respond to you, they'll transfer it to Carrington.
Yeah, well, that's one of the delays and why it's taken 9 months is because they transferred the service to Soteris, and now I've got to deal with Soteris, and it's just one of those. It's not a fun process to go through a short sale, and I feel for anybody that has to go through that because they've got to get me paperwork 100 times before the bank will say anything. So yeah, it's.
Mark,
but
if you're
it's-
looking for a house, why should you retain the services of a realtor?
Yes.
Only if you want to buy a house.
I mean, if you're looking,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, the reality is that the buyers, we've talked about this before on the show, that the buyers are pretty sophisticated and that they have access to websites like Zillow and Trulia and ThinkingRealEstate.com and JacksonMIHomes.com, which is the association website, where you can search before you get to a realtor. But, our job is to locate, negotiate, and facilitate. And I don't make decisions for people. I give them the information and help them. Yeah, I mean, our job is really, it's providing information. I would say 90%.
Yeah, and there's way more to the process than people know. So having a realtor involved, and I'd say get a realtor involved early. The people that are really serious about this know that they can't just go on to realtor.com, find any random realtor, and
That's kind of what I was driving at. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're just thinking about
Well, anybody that's
getting a
mentioned,
house, should you call a realtor and say, hey,
yeah,
might be in the market?
the relationship should be fairly strong. The only way, I mean, you know, real estate is not rocket science. There's a process, and it's information, and the more information you have as a buyer, the better off the transaction will
Yeah,
end.
the smoothest transactions are the ones where the buyers they started with a realtor early and have worked through the entire process with the same realtor.
And a lot of times the
So.
process is not easy. We don't like all of our clients, and our clients always don't like us.
Right.
But our job is to facilitate the transfer of property.
Right.
And the better, realtors, 80% of the transactions are done by 20% of the realtors. And there's a reason for that, and that's because there are good ones and there are bad ones.
Right.
And
Like anything.
yeah, and a full-time experienced realtor is invaluable to the process, regardless of who it is, as long as they're good.
Regardless of who it is, as long as they're good. That's quite a qualified statement there. Anyway.
And I can
all
give
right.
you a list if you like.
Or just call us.
Short list?
Yeah, fairly short.
So, all right, well, we're almost out of time. We got a new listing on Thursday, I think, 1821 Liberty Woods, 199.9, 3 bedrooms, 3 full baths, 1,700 square feet, plus a finished basement, 1.25 acres. That one's got a really cool train set in the basement. I'm like, you gotta look at it just for the train set. It's amazing.
Wow.
Anyway, we have another one coming up. We don't have it on the market quite yet, but it's gonna be on Beverly Park Place. So that one's got 3 bedrooms, 1 and 2 half bath, 1 full and 2 half baths, just over 1,900 square feet. So
No trains?
no trains on that one. But an artist lives there, and so it's really cool, like, just to kind of go in and see how they've decorated it.
And I have a great house on Clark Lake, lakefront.
Beauty.
It's beautiful. 20 years old, 469, beautiful.
Very cool. Yeah, one price reduction too, 3128 Lori Drive, Spring Arbor area, Western Schools, 119.9, 3 bedrooms, 1.5 baths, 1,200 square feet. Very, just a normal ranch, but in a nice neighborhood. So give us a call, 780-3800 or thinkingrealestate.com.
Thanks, Jackie. Good to see you, Mark.
Good to see you.
Mark Meyer and Jackie Osman from Thinking Real Estate.